Hey, my name is Dan, and I love making everyday tech easy. I worked at Apple for 19 years, and now I serve in full time ministry. Today, I'm bringing my Apple Watch back because today I want to show you my favorite tips and tricks on how I use the Apple Watch even more. Hey, thank you so much for clicking on this video. I know that if you clicked on this video, it's because you want to maybe use your Apple Watch a little bit more, or you want to find those pretty cool tips and tricks on how to effectively use your Apple Watch. So that's what we're going to dive in today. And I actually brought out a little gem. Here's my original Apple Watch. Look at that. Still powers on. This thing is tiny compared to my Apple Watch Ultra 2. Stainless steel, way back in the day. It's a work of art. Hey, so how do we use our Apple Watch even more? Well, I want to show you just 5 things, and I may go over even beyond 5 on how I like to use my Apple Watch for those everyday tasks, which makes life a little bit easier. Now, you have to keep in mind the Apple Watch is the device that it's your most personal device, right? You can personalize it even more. You can change the bands every day if you want to match your outfit or whatnot. But it's the one that you are constantly wearing. You take it with you everywhere. And even though the phone is easily accessible, Apple Watch just takes it that much further by being on your person always. So here's the first thing that I love to do with my Apple Watch, and it's really unlocking my Mac um, when I just get close to my computer. Now let me kind of explain this. Maybe you haven't even tried this. There is a little bit of setup that you have to do. You have to have an Apple Watch, duh. You have to have a Mac. Doesn't matter which Mac you have. You can have a laptop. You can have a Mac, a desktop. They both have to be running the current software. You do have to have a passcode on your Apple Watch, right? So you can see there how I have a code that I had to enter. That is what makes this unlock your Mac. It has to be secure before we can unlock your Mac. So what you have to do on your Mac is click on System Settings. It's that little gearbox, and it's gonna come up with a window just like this. And you're gonna follow down on the left-hand side something that says Login Password. And then over on this side, you wanna make sure that you have selected Apple Watch turned on. So again, you wanna go down in System Settings, look for Login and Password, and then you're gonna see an option that says Unlock my Mac with my Apple Watch. And by default, that is turned off. So you wanna go ahead and turn that on. And what will happen is once you're wearing your Apple Watch, so I'll go ahead and put this on my wrist really quick. It's gonna come on and off my wrist a lot today. By the way, if you have not subbed to the channel, please do so. We're almost at, I think, like 800 and some odd followers. We're almost at the 900 mark, which is amazing. Thank you so much for following along. So now that I have unlocked my watch, and I'm not gonna lock my Mac because then all this would stop. But as I come back into my office, I sit down. I just have to wake up my mouse to wake up my screen. The fact that my Apple Watch is in with proximity, very close proximity to my Mac, and my Apple Watch is unlocked. And what I mean by that is I put on my Apple Watch in the morning whenever I put it on, and I've gone ahead and put my passcode, so I have access to my apps. I can see my watch functioning freely. Then this is a secure device because I have not removed it from my wrist. The moment I remove it from my wrist, even if it's just a little bit, you'll notice that it'll easily prompt me right back to enter my passcode. That's what makes this secure. The fact that it's physically touching your skin, and then you go ahead and unlock the Apple Watch when you first put it on. That is such a, uh, you know, I'm gonna say the word game changer, but that might be a little bit overkill. But it's so cool sitting down at your desk and just kind of waking up and seeing your Mac saying unlocked by Apple Watch. You don't have to go in there and put your passcode, especially if you have a super long password. Kind of gets to be a pain. And there's actually a secondary feature where you can have the Apple Watch unlock your iPhone as a biometric touch point. Now, obviously, we have Face ID, which is lightning fast, or you may have an older iPhone that has a Touch ID. It's not really meant to replace that, but it's definitely useful in those moments where maybe you're wearing a hat or glasses, or maybe you're a nurse or you're a doctor and you're wearing a mask at work. It just makes life a little bit easier. So tip number one, feature number one that I love to use my Apple Watch, I should say, is by unlocking my Mac. Pretty cool. Now, the second thing that I love to do with my Apple Watch, it's to control my TV. Now, this may not be a totally new feature. They did update the app here on Apple Watch recently, but I want to do something. I want to be able to. I want to show you my actual Apple Watch. So here's what I'm doing. This is kind of has nothing to do with TV. So I have my phone connected to my Mac, so you can kind of see what I'm doing here. And you may find a use for this. You might not. I'm gonna actually I'm gonna screen mirror my Apple Watch on my phone. I do have an overhead camera that I can switch, but I figured why not show it to you like this. So I'm gonna click on System Settings within my phone, and I'm going to scroll down to where it says accessibility, which I'm in right now. And if you notice down here, it says Apple Watch Mirror. You can kind of see it right around there. I'm going to go ahead and just unlock my watch while we're doing this. And now I toggle this switch on. And now what you should start seeing is my Apple Watch on my phone, but therefore you guys can see it there too. Now, one of the cool features, I can either control it on my device, or I can control it on my actual Apple Watch. And if you see here, my Apple Watch is actually being mirrored to my phone. Pretty cool, I think. So the first thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and look at my app. So I'm going to go ahead and push on my digital crown over here on the right side. And if you notice down here, if I scroll, there is an actual app called Remote. Now, I'm actually doing some changes here at my home, so my Apple TV is actually disconnected. But if I have an Apple TV in the house and I tap on remote, it's gonna go and search for my Apple TV. It's gonna connect to my nearest one, depending on my Wi-Fi. And now I have access to my Apple TV remote on my wrist. Why is this such a big deal? How many times have you been potentially sitting on the couch or laying in bed, and then there's an ad that comes up, or you want to change to the next movie, or you want to change the whatever it is you want to do, and all of a sudden you cannot find that little tiny Apple remote, or you left the remote up on the counter or up on the nightstand and it's just kind of far. You have the Apple Watch on you the whole time. And as a dad, if your kids are watching the Apple TV and you're calling them for dinner or you're calling them to do homework and they're not, well, you can take over control and just jump on there and pause the TV, go to the next. You can use your digital assistant Siri to fast forward, rewind, add captions, you name it. It is so cool that now we have the full function of the Apple TV remote on your device. And the cool thing is, even if you're playing media on a HomePod or another connected device that is in your Apple ecosystem, it will always show you like the now playing feature. You still have some capability there, so it's kind of cool. The second remote option that man, I don't know why people don't use this even more, is the camera app remote. Now, I'm not going to activate it because since we're mirroring the screen, it's going to kind of mess with me here a little bit. But the camera remote, how many times have you been taking a group picture, a family picture, and you're putting the phone down, you're trying to balance it between a rock or a purse or a baby bag, and you put the timer and then you run right back to the group, or you're trying to get that really super high selfie, trying to get the camera within, well, all of a sudden you have an Apple remote for your camera on your watch, and plus you get a live preview, you get a countdown. It's amazing. Apple TV remote and Apple camera remote, major, major plus. Now, what's another tip that I have for you today is the following. Now, this one, it's it's one of my favorites. It's the flashlight. Now be honest and do me a favor. Right now in the comments, drop me a comment if you use your Apple Watch as a flashlight all the time. I cannot believe when this feature came out a long time ago, it Listen, I know the word game changer we throw around here quite a bit, and you're like, come on, Dan, you have an iPhone, you have an action button on your iPhone, you can turn on your you can turn on your flashlight at any moment, which we do. But so many times I've left my iPhone charging in the kitchen or somewhere in the house, and I run out to go get the mail or go out to take out the trash, and it's pitch dark, but I have my Apple Watch on me. The cool thing about the flashlight, and I'm going to kind of give you a little bit of a tip here. So obviously you have the flashlight. I have the Apple Watch Ultra, which brings the action button. But even if you don't have this model, you can swipe up to tap on flashlight. You have the flashlight. Now the cool thing about the flashlight, when you're wearing your Apple Watch, when you tilt it downward, it will intensify. You can always tap on the screen to intensify the brightness. How cool is that? Maybe you didn't know. Now, if you swipe over, you get the strobe effect. Now, maybe you can kind of see it on camera if I point it at a slight angle. Pretty cool. You must be thinking, well, Dan, why do I want to flash the light on my Apple Watch? Well, here's a phenomenal tip, I think. My wife and I, we go out for evening walks, and we like to walk when it's the sun setting, so it's not as hot. But inevitably, we'll be stuck walking, and it's now nighttime. And you have some cars passing by. Well, what I do as I'm using my Apple Watch for my Apple Fitness, I'm closing those rings, I'm doing all of that. I simply, as I'm walking, I'm going to turn off my screen mirroring here for a minute. As I'm walking, I'll go ahead and turn on my flashlight, set it to strobe, and as I'm walking and my arm is just kind of swinging in the background, I have a flashing beacon light so that cars can see where we're at. If you're riding bike, if you love to ride bike, you can ride bike. You can flip your watch around and have it maybe on the back side of your wrist, maybe as you're walking, right? It's still getting all your metrics there for your heart rate and everything, but as you're walking, you're kind of in this walking motion, you have a flashing light that's in the back of your wrist or on the top of your wrist. And then finally, you have the red light. The red light, you're like, well, why do I need a red light? Obviously, red light's great for night vision. Doesn't necessarily wake up people. If you need to be discreet around your spouse, or maybe you're in a very dark environment, maybe you work in production, maybe you work somewhere where you're in a dim lit room because you got cameras and other things around you, you can always have the red light on. And then another bonus feature, which I think people don't even realize, if you swipe up on your crown, super hard to see with all this light around me, but you can intensify the light just by scrolling up and down on your digital crown, which I think is pretty cool. So feature number three, believe it or not, it's the flashlight. Now, my next one, which I know without a shadow of a doubt that you probably use yourself, is Find My, or Find My iPhone, Find My iPad, Find My wife, Find My kids, Find My everything. Well, obviously on Apple Watch, all you would have to do is kind of swipe up to your access control, and you will see there. You know what? For this, I will mirror my screen. Hang on one second. Here we go. Here on my control panel, I've gone ahead and there's multiple ways to get this. You can swipe down or swipe up. You can push the side button there underneath your digital crown, and you have your control panel where you have multiple um, tools at your disposal. Obviously, one is Find My. So if I tap on the vibrating phone, it'll start to ring my device no matter where it's at. Now, what's new is that now you have a location, so you have more location awareness. So as you get closer to your device, it'll start kind of guiding you there, how many feet you're there away. So if it's hard with me, since I'm mirroring, it doesn't kind of make sense, but it'll show you how far you are from your device. Now, if you have not updated to the latest software, and I don't know why Apple took this feature off, and maybe they didn't, but I can't get it to work. Maybe and you can help me out. But as I tap on the Find My iPhone icon, which is here at the bottom right? If I tap it once, it'll beep my phone. It'll show you the distance that I am away from my device. But if you have not updated, if you tap and hold the Find My phone, if you tap and hold it, what ends up happening is it would flash your light behind it. And this was super useful if you've ever dropped your phone um, in the couch, or maybe you've been sitting in your car and it's dark and you can't find your phone. Well, obviously you can hear your phone, but it was so cool to be able to flash the light. Now, I don't know why they took that out. Maybe they didn't. Maybe I just have something wrong with my phone. But let me know down below. If you tap and hold your Find My phone or Find My device on your Apple Watch, if you tap and hold it and it flashes the light, then let me know. I would love to know if that feature is still around. So listen, these are just 5 quick things on how to leverage and use your Apple Watch even more. It is a great camera remote. It is awesome to unlock your Mac. You have the ability of having a flashlight when you're out about walking, exercising, walking your dog, even at night, and having that light flash there for you. There are just so many other reasons why you can be using the Apple Watch. I hope these quick 5 tips made your day a little bit brighter. So let me know what you want to do. Tell me how you use your Apple Watch. Tell me what is your favorite feature on the Apple Watch, and I'll try it out myself. And I cannot wait to see you to the next time. Hey, before you go, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. It means the world. Drop a comment down below, and even better, share this video. Help me get to my next milestone of 1,000 subs. Until next time, peace.